Hello and welcome back to OT, the podcast, where we talk about time watches and how to spend it. My name's Felix Schultz.
And I'm Andy Gray. And Felix, how are you?
I'm good. Did I mess up the intro line?
It's flexible. It's watches time and how to spend it.
I would time.
I got asked the other day how to spend it, but you don't really talk about how to spend it. And I said, what's it?
Oh,
is it time? Is it money? I had just watched The Matrix, so
time is luck. Today, Andy, we've got a double up. We're doubling down, and
we do.
They're kind of sorry. Watch matchmaking is what I'm talking about, Andy. I don't know if you're across this whole concept that we do.
Yeah, occasionally.
Today we've got two guys with deep pockets, relatively speaking. We're going to the top end of town and we're having a ball. But before then, there's some few little things been going on in house, so they say.
Bit of news, bit of internal news.
Yeah. So shall I kick off, or do you want to take your one?
Well, the big thing that you might notice, and you definitely would have noticed by now, is our new cover art. You would have seen that on this episode and probably the last handful. And you would have seen our characters.
We've never looked so good.
We've never looked so harmless. But yeah, we've got a bit of the brand is growing. The brand is developing a new vibe. So that was done by actually a local guy here in Melbourne. Came to us by another designer, Nathan Nankervis.
Yeah, cool.
Who didn't do it, but Taki_1 on Instagram. He owns a studio called Soda with 2 A's.
Nice.
So
we'll link that up.
He's done the cover art. Yeah, we'll link that up and hopefully do a few more projects with him later down the track, Felix.
It's cool. I like it, and it's a fun process to go through to sort of, do you want this, do you want that, like that whole design thing. Doing it for your own brand is, it's not something I've really experienced before, and I had a great time. You know what else I've been having a great time doing?
What else?
Researching Tudor. Which is something that is a bit of new for me and for you as well, I guess. We're doing some writing for one of the coolest watch publications out there, A Collected Man.
We are doubling up.
Yeah, so I mean that's a really I say cool. Like I'm a little bit stoked. Like I'm always a big fan of their research and the level to which they write things, and I sort of felt a bit of the old pressure having to live up to that standard. And yeah, you're working on something at the moment.
Yeah, tapping away, and it's nice to be doing something else together as well. And I think it's nice to sort of do that long form content. A couple of thousand words, really research something, dive deep into it. A
bit more than, and it's not like press release stuff that we're doing either. It's sort of like a bit more history and it's cool. So I mean, there's a bunch of interesting ideas happening there. So we'll of course link that up and share that when they publish. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
We should get Silas on it at some point as well. Silas Walton, the I guess front man of A Collected Man.
Yeah, they seem to be like a bit of an empire though at the moment, though, don't they? They're doing really
well. Big moves.
And Andy, before we get into the watch matchmaking, I've done a bit of watch matchmaking of my own.
You have,
but to be honest, I think I've jacked your watch.
You've jacked my ride. What did you get?
Got a Bremont.
Did ya?
Yeah, Bremont MB2.
One of the new ones?
Yeah, I configured it. I did the configurator.
Okay.
So we'll probably talk about that in a little bit. But it was
not today. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, it was a really fun process, and I've only had it like literally a couple of days, and it's a brick. It's really fun to wear. It's just been it's kind of cool.
So you went the white dial like me.
Mm-hmm. White dial, but I'm
wearing mine now.
Oh, cool. I'm not. I'm looking at it. I'm holding it in my hand and, talking about it. I kind of want to try and scratch it.
Good luck.
Is that wrong? Like that I want to sort of, like I'm walking past brick walls with carefree abandon, like, this watch can take it. That sort of vibe.
So I've like changed the strap plenty, and I think the watch scratches the spring bar tool that I use, but the spring bar tool won't. Like it's some reverse.
This is I think I hear Chuck Norris wears this watch, and
exactly.
But he gets an allergic rash from it because it's so tough. I don't know, something like that.
Something like that. All right, well, we'll talk about that later. We'll go deeper into what you chose. All right, before we get into our watch matchmaking, Felix.
Yeah,
we have to take a quick break.
Sure, let's do that.
Today's episode of OT the podcast is brought to you by William Wood Watches.
William Wood, they're a smaller independent brand. They're based out of the United Kingdom and they've been around for a few years now.
What sets William Wood apart is their design ties to the firefighting service stemming from the founder's connection.
So, they're named after William Wood, who's the founder's grandfather, and he was a legit firefighter with a bunch of accolades. The watches incorporate a range of nice firefighting touches.
Like their logo, which is an old style firefighter's helmet. But the really cool part, the straps seen on their Valiant collection, which are made of upcycled British fire hoses.
Something really interesting is the crown, which has been made from a London Fire Brigade brass helmet from the 1920s.
The Valiant collection is their divers range, water resistant up to 100 metres, and powered by your choice of either a Swiss or a Japanese movement. Now, those straps I mentioned.
Yeah, aside from being sustainable, they are indeed upcycled from fire hoses that would otherwise have been tossed aside.
Super cool, and we've actually been wearing a piece from the collection. I've been wearing the red watch, which comes on a matching red rubber strap.
While I've been going for the rose watch with a pop and yellow rubber strap. It's a classic dive style with a nice sandwich dial and some nice, good two-tone elements going on. How are you liking that strap, Andy?
What surprised me is the unique details, which makes sense as every strap is slightly different and it makes it feel a little bit more special. It also has retained a smokiness to it, which is pretty cool.
The straps are also really comfortable. I can see them working on a bunch of watches, and you can buy them separately.
Speaking of, the Valiant collection features a quick change spring bar on both rubber straps and the bracelet. How good.
It makes changing those straps absolutely easy.
And I should mention the military fire hose strap, which comes in a khaki-esque green, right up my alley.
Did you see they've also done a bronze edition that'll be ready early 2021?
Sure did, and it's the sort of watch that's going to look really cool worn in and patinaed up.
Now, time for something more serious.
Yes, William Wood caught our attention earlier this year when they donated a watch in support of the Australian bushfires, and that individual piece raised $4,800 US.
Being based in Melbourne, that's a pretty important cause for us and for William Wood. That amount is much more than the retail price of a William Wood Valiant.
Yes, a new one is priced between $695 and $995 Great British Pounds, which is roughly $1,500 to $2,000 Aussie dollars, depending on which movement you go with.
And how many extra straps you get with it.
If you're in the market for a new diver, check out William Wood Watches, who are upcycling service materials for a new life on wrist. Once forgotten, now reborn.
When you buy a William Wood watch, you're not just buying a great watch, you're also giving back to firefighting communities that really need our support now more than ever. This year so far, they've raised over 10,000 USD for international firefighting charities. And they also donate to firefighting charities in the UK with every sale.
For more information or to purchase one of their timepieces or unique straps, visit williamwoodwatches.com.
And do you know who we're back with, Andy?
Who are we back with?
Ben.
Benny boy.
And I don't think it's inappropriate to call this guy Big Ben. Because Ben's from the UK.
Yep.
But he's also 6'7" and 17 stone. So I don't know what that is in metric, but I suspect.
Let me Google that. Read out his email.
He's a large lad. All right. So he said, "Hi guys, would love to hear you discuss my first world nightmare problem on the podcast. Looking forward to maybe hearing your opinions. My name's Ben. Covered that. UK covered that. He's a year and a half away from his 40th, and he's looking to make a big purchase to celebrate the event. His budget is around £16,000 of the Great British variety."
Yep.
Front runner by a clear mile is the Vacheron Constantin Overseas with a blue dial. But he's aware that budget unlocks some serious options to consider. So it sounds like he's going to get the VC, but let's go through the motions. What are we talking about here, Andy? Have you done your metric conversion yet?
Okay, so 6'7", that's pretty obvious, but 17 stone is about just under 110 kilos. So it's not that big. Like he's
a built boy.
Yeah, he's pretty lean at 110 at that height. So
yeah.
Watch out.
But what he says about it, he says he's aware that he wants a bigger watch. He said anything under 40 millimeter looks like I've robbed someone's nan.
Well, he hasn't met my nan because my nan is tough and terrifying.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Did I ever tell you this? I got a story actually. I'll tell you about my nan quickly.
Okay.
So when she moved into a new house, I don't know, like 10 years ago. we're like 80 to 90% sure she bought it. The person that used to live there was a drug dealer.
Sure.
Due to the very high tech security, the proximity with the secret escape out the back fence
Shut up.
onto the main road. Yeah, bars on all the windows, bars on the manhole, a very well lit garage and well insulated garage.
Sure.
So
any sort of thermal, blanketing so that it can't be detected by,
a lot of solar panels on the roof.
Interesting.
And the real thing that gave it away was the sort of dozen or so people that would kind of randomly turn up and knock on the door, and then be very shook when my nan answered. She didn't have it. She didn't have what they wanted. But anyway,
maybe she, pensions aren't what they were. Maybe she should diversify.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
Breaking Nan. So Ben is open to suggestions, but this is what he's got at the moment. He's got the ceramic Rolex Sea Dweller 126600. He got that to celebrate birth of a child. He's got the Pam Radiamir Pam 190, big Panerai. He's got the classic Seiko SKX 007, which he uses to mod and try out straps and bezels. He sort of says he's used that to figure out what he likes, a starter watch. He's also got a pre-Bond Omega Seamaster that was his dad's watch for 40 years and he inherited. So that's the brief. What do you think?
All right, so key points are he likes a milestone. He clearly celebrates with a watch. He's turning 40. He emailed us a couple months ago, so he's probably got a year left.
He's closer to 40 now.
He's closing in. Sorry, Ben. Budget. So that budget, 16K sterling is sort of 28-ish Aussie dollars.
45 for you.
Yeah, I've been all right. 40 mil plus. He's got the big Rolex. He's got the big Pam, and he does love that VC Overseas, which tells me steel watch integrated bracelet is sort of drawing him in.
Yeah, okay. So do you want to kick off?
Yeah, I'll kick off. Speaking of steel watches with blue dials and integrated bracelets, this the first choice, Felix, Octo Finissimo Auto, the new blue dial.
The new blue.
The new blue. Yeah. Way under budget, 17.8 Aussie dollars.
So this is steel. This is the steel one, yeah?
Yeah, stainless steel. So in that classic, 40 mil Octo Finissimo case, 100 meters water resistant, petite second hand. It's the blue lacquer dial with sort of that sunburst finishing to it.
Yep, and the steel finishing's kind of like that mix of polished and brushed, not that, the matte ones like the first OFs were.
Yeah, not like the bead blasted look to it. Okay. Clear case back, which is really, really cool. Way under budget, 17.8 Aussie, like I said. So he's got like 10 grand left to play with. I think this is strong.
A fun fact about this, I read it in passing, so I haven't checked it, but I think they made this thicker. They've added a little bit of thickness to it over the earlier generations. So
really?
I don't know. Yeah, again, I'd have to check. I might be fake newsing it, but it was someone I respect the opinion thereof. So, just maybe they beefed it up a bit.
Well, it's still in the extra thin case, so that doesn't tell me too much. But
plenty thin.
Plenty thin, but it wears bigger. So it is 40, but I think we both agree.
Very
this
big
comes
watch.
up all the time.
Yeah.
It's a bigger wearing watch. He's not going to have any issues.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon a big guy wanting a thin watch, or do you think the wanting a big watch means big in all dimensions?
I don't. Does anyone enjoy wearing a really, really thick watch, like a watch that's thicker than it needs to be?
Sometimes it's kind of cool.
You do?
Well, not thicker than it needs to be, but
yeah.
That's a how long is a piece of string sort of thing. But I don't mind wearing a chunky watch sometimes.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think he'll like how this wears. For him, being a bigger guy, it's going to wear like it's a 42. Or I hate to say that stuff, but it'll wear bigger. It's still got the integrated. It's actually even cheaper than the VC because the VC is pushing sort of 30K. And this is a pretty different option.
Well, what do you got next? Let's move on from Bvlgari.
Next boy. Okay, the H Moser & Co. Streamliner center seconds. Another new watch for this year. Again, that's the lugless integrated bracelet. It's got that.
Looks kind of like an Airstream Caravan.
Yeah, it does. I think it was inspired by the Streamliner is like a train from like the 1940s.
Yeah. It's like Italian futurist where everything
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like, aerospace to the max.
yeah. And it's got that green dial. They call it matrix green, which, as far as dial color namings go,
Well,
I'm here for that.
That's got you written all over it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Like matrix green. What a name for a dial.
Sure.
So this is 40 millimeters again, steel cushion case, water resistant to 120 meters.
Mhm.
They say ergonomics are extraordinary on it, which is cool. They would say that. And for a big guy sort of walking through the breeze, it's not going to catch any drag, so it won't slow him down. The obviously in-house movement being a Moser, the thickness is 11.8, so it sort of it'll wear with the dome crystal. That includes the size of the dome crystal. Worth noting.
Yeah, it's pretty decent watch.
It's pretty decent. So that's thicker than the Octo, but it's probably pretty similar to like the thickness of like a sub if you include the Cyclops in it.
I got a question for you. Do you reckon this? I'm just looking at the silhouette. Do you reckon it's a little bit too close to the Panerai Radiomir?
Oh, geez, don't let Moser hear that.
Well, I
don't. I think the bracelet it's cushiony. I think the bracelet makes it like a pretty special watch.
Yeah, okay.
Moser's, it's not for everyone. I think the dial is there's nothing, Radiomir about the dial, but the bracelet is pretty unique as far as watch, integrated steel bracelets. It's different looking. I should mention the price because I have gone over.
Okay.
This watch retails for 35,000 Aussie dollars. So
sure.
It's a few more pounds. It's a few more pounds for Big Ben.
You're only 41.
Yeah, exactly. All right, my last one.
You should have had his budget at 40K. That would have been perfect.
Yeah, $1,000 for every year on the planet works for me.
Okay. Andy, what have you done? I've just had a quick.
Yeah.
What is this?
You've jumped ahead. Okay, so my last pick for Ben is, it's still in that sort of lineage of steel integrated bracelets, but it's a little bit more memorable for a 40th birthday, and it's bigger.
Okay.
It's a bigger, chunkier boy.
Yeah.
Gerard Perregaux, Laureato.
Is it the Seahawk?
Skeleton.
Oh, it's not the Seahawk too?
It's the skeleton, Laureato. 42 millimeter. Thickness is just under 11 millimeters. It's got that skeleton dial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Budget-wise, I'll kick off with the budget. There is a bunch of these on Chrono 24 for like 30K. A couple of grand either side of that. Mm-hmm. For that money, I think it's a pretty good price for this watch. Water resistant to 30 meters, which I guess is plenty. Clear case back as well.
That's really cool. I think I've seen this one, and the open work style. It's pretty nicely done.
It is. I think for the same money as a steel Vacheron, it's an interesting watch to compare it to because it's just so different. And I mean, an open work sort of for this look and feel is going to be multiples if it was any other brand. Normally, I think that this watch is far too big if we're talking about size. Like I think it's a very, very big chunky watch. But if you're a big bloke, 6'7" and pushing 110 kgs, this is gonna tick those boxes. You're actually gonna love the feel of this. So I think it's and for like 40th, because he's marking an occasion. It's sort of, and that's an age I think where you can buy a watch like this and still wear it for a couple of decades.
I mean, he's got other stuff, like it's a special occasion watch. Like he's got everyday wearers, so it's really interesting. So you've gone 3 integrated steel bracelet watches.
I have,
and they're all super different.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of variety, like he said in his email. There's a heap of, you can take 30 grand and spend it a heap of different ways, and I think this list shows that you can spend 30 grand in a heap of different ways on steel integrated watches that don't have 3-4 time markups on retail.
Yeah, I mean,
2-3 times.
I'm going to have to really think about which of those ones I would go for, because you can make really solid arguments for all of them.
I've hogged all of the steel integrated bracelets.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I didn't really even notice that was a theme you were going with when I picked mine. And I did go one steel integrated one because I thought I'd honour the old the link to the Vacheron that he sort of went with. But I went down a bit of a different path. I went with, for me, a milestone is a gold watch. And for that sort of budget, you can get some...
Depends on the milestone. But yeah, for 30 grand, you're in the precious metal territory.
So I'll kick it off with what I think is, I like to call it the classy chronograph. the IWC Portuguese chronograph in rose gold with an anthracite dial, which is it's about as dressy as a chrono can get, I reckon.
That's very dressy.
So it's 42 millimeters, so good size. Like that's for me. Like the Portuguese, and the main complaint you sort of hear about the Portuguese is that it's a really lovely watch, but it's slightly too big. If you
I think this one's 41. Actually, I'm just going to correct you on that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was going with the pushers.
Oh, pusher to pusher. Yeah. But it's still plus 40, so he hasn't stolen this off my nan. So that's okay.
Yeah. And also, just to irritate you, Andy, I've picked 3 different watches in 3 different currencies. This one is £15,500.
What's that in Aussie dollars?
Oh, it's in budget.
You sure?
Yeah, I think it's just under 30. But also, he gave us a budget in pounds, so it's in budget.
Subject to fluctuation, Ben.
Well, he's not in Australia. He's in the UK. Like, he's got £16,000. He can do that and have some change. So, yeah, I just, look, this is a new chronograph. You know, they've updated it this year, I think. It's just a great watch. You know, it can't go wrong anywhere. It's like a proper grown-up gold watch, I think. And I think at this, like, once you're 40, your kids have, you know, grown up a bit, and you know you've presumably done something with your life. This is when you start buying yourself a gold watch. Andy Green.
It is nice with the sort of the gold markers, gold hands. So the anthracite dial's sort of, you know, radial grey, and then it's got those 2 black sub-dials.
Yeah, 12 and 6. Yeah.
Fair bit of contrast.
There's other dial options as well. I mean, like, I think this is I just picked that one because I think it looks nice, but you know, it's
very classy.
Yeah, I thought it was classy. Do you want to hear what I've got next?
What's next?
I've gone slightly less classy, but still gold.
Okay.
I like to call this one the Sentimental Flex Watch. Do you like my little names?
It's okay. It's great. I wish I'd known. I would have done my own.
Well, next time we can. I can come up with them for you if you want as well. So he said that he inherited his dad's Seamaster.
Okay, I see what you're doing.
So I've gone for a Seamaster as well. The Seamaster 300, which is the one that sort of vintagey one. It's a 40 millimeter watch. It wears really, really well. Like, you can, you know, I think it's absolutely fits for size. But I've gone for it in Sedna gold.
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay, that's rose gold, right?
It's a rosy color, but it's Sedna gold. It's a proprietary alloy. Unfortunately, within the budget, I could not afford a full gold bracelet. So I'm going to
check the full gold price just now.
It's a fair bit more. I'll chat about it while you do the checking.
Oh yeah, 49,000 on the bracelet.
Also, I think that full gold on a bracelet is maybe a little bit OTT. Whereas these...
We like OT, but OTT? No, thank you.
Too much. They're our competitors.
Yeah. Stick to OT.
I think on the right strap, you can actually dress this down, I reckon. Like, if you bought a nylon Omega strap for that, I think that with the black dial, black bezel, still a fair bit of gold, like gold markers, the gold case, and there's a, you know, inner sort of ring between the crystal and the bezel. There's a lot of flash going on, but, you know.
I do like a precious metal diver, and I think you've done the right choice. Another 20, you pay another 20K for that gold bracelet. So I think on the leather. Also,
mate, I don't know. You could do yellow gold as well for that. I just think I love the incongruity of like a tool watch in gold as well. I just think it's
a rubber strap. Surely there's going to be a rubber strap.
Oh, that'd be great. Like, the other thing you could also do like full gold Aquaterras or the SMP, but I think this is like that. It's a bit vintage. It's a bit sort of more down to earth in some ways, less polish than some of the other, you know, Omegas. So they're my 2 gold boys. And my third one is a integrated steel sports watch.
Did we say the price on that Omega?
Oh, did we? I don't think. It's a fair bit. It's 28,775 Aussie. So just sneaks in there.
Max budget. All right, last choice, Felix.
Integrated steel sports. under budget at
Oh.
12,800 CHF. That's Swiss francs. You love
Another
my
currency.
you love my
Just throw 'em in the mix.
currency fluctuations here.
FX trader over here, yeah. TransferWise Schultz.
I just want him to get the best deal where he can. Chopard Alpine Eagle.
Relatively new piece.
Yeah, so I've gone for the one with the blue dial because he said he wanted the VC with the blue dial, and this is a absolutely gorgeous dial. It's a starburst, but it's quite a it's not like a soft starburst finish. It's like almost like pleats. It's real sort of Grand Seiko stuff in the texture of it.
The snowflakey sort of
Well,
frozen
no, I
water.
just they say it's reminiscent of the iris of an eagle's eye.
I see that actually.
But it's a beautiful dial, and it gets you get a lot of bang for buck with this one. It's 41 mil. It wears big. It's got like that sort of that sort of portholey, vaguely looking case. Nice bracelet, polished center bits. The Roman numerals. There's a date. I don't know, but personally, my taste, I don't love the Romans, but it's a cool watch. Flashy.
Is it?
Yeah. A lot of shine about it. Also, recycled steel, so good for the environment. And super. It's like hard coated as well. They call it lucent steel.
Where do they get the steel from?
They recycle it from steel, I think, used in like aerospace industry. I don't know, somewhere. It's repurposed. It's upcycled.
That's cool.
Yeah, Chopard are big on the whole ethical side of it. All their gold is ethically sourced too. And it's
very balanced watch as well.
Solid movement, good in-house. Like it's sort of, I'd put that toe to toe with like your Moser or the Bvlgari.
Yeah. I mean, it's 12,800 franc. That's probably about the same price as the Bvlgari. So that
Bvlgari, cheaper than the Moser. Yeah, I think it's just under. It's around the 20K Aussie mark. Either side. I'm not sure where. Do you want me to go first with your selects, or do you want to go mine?
Nah, I'll do yours, then you can do me.
Okay.
So my favorite choice that Felix has put forward it's the Seamaster 300.
Interesting. That was kind of my outlier in a way.
Why?
Well, it's sort of like the first thought was the chrono, because he also doesn't have any chrono. So I'm like, gold watch, IWC is classy, but pretty big and manly. And then I sort of went down that path and thought, what else can you get for that sort of money? And, I just sort of saw the fact that he had inherited one and bingo bango, put it together. But it might be my favorite as well, actually. It's a bit of an underrated watch these days, the Seamaster 300.
The 300 is 100% underrated. But here's my thing with dive watches is most of the time, regardless of metal, I'm probably not going to wear it on the bracelet all that much. It's a NATO strap, it's a rubber strap, it's a fabric strap. So the fact that it's not on a gold bracelet that, costs 20 grand is not a turn off to me. I like the idea and I like the idea of that on a rubber strap. And that is reasonably good value. And when you stack that against, these other steel watches that we're talking about, it certainly is appealing.
If you put that up next to the Chopard or the solid gold Omega, the Chopard is a flashier watch.
Yeah, interesting.
You know what I mean? Like it's just, especially if you have that Omega on like a, one of their fabric straps or something, like a rubber. It's, yeah.
I'm into it. All right, what did you like from my three?
I struggled, man. I really, there wasn't like they're so close but so different. So I think it really comes down to a value judgment from Ben on this one. But if it was me in those shoes, I'd go the Moser.
Really?
Yeah. I love the Bvlgari, but I think I'd go a different, if it was me, I'd go a different version of it. And also I just think like when you say you want a big watch, I don't know. Maybe
it's not big enough.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like a big watch. Like you said, I want a watch that, doesn't feel like I've pinched it off my nan.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a bit too dressy. I don't know. I haven't said.
If your nan wears an Octo Finissimo, we need to get her on the podcast because she sounds great.
But also, having said that, I haven't worn those new steel ones, so I could be well off the mark. So, but I don't know. I think the Moser's cool. It's a bit different. You don't see it every day. Like legit movement, interesting bracelet design. That's where I'm going. I'm going the Moser.
All right, take the green pill, Ben.
But really, I also think I'd go the Seamaster of those two.
I really like the GP. I like the idea of this. Yeah, the GP is probably the chunkiest watch.
Out of yours, you do that one?
Nah, I think I personally really love the Octo, and I think it steel integrated bracelet, in-house movement, all that good stuff, blue dial. It'd just be an interesting watch for him to look at side by side next to that Overseas, which is sort of the sort of the front runner. Because I think this is one where it could be like, oh, hold on, this is quite a bit cheaper, nearly half the price.
Yeah, and you get a lot of the same attributes as a.
It's putting the heat on. It's putting the heat on that Overseas. But yeah, interesting.
I think this is. We don't have a clear winner here. Often we have like a clear sort of favorite, but this is. Yeah,
the fans will let us know.
Yeah, sure. But that's not. We've got more, Andy. Who else have we got?
We do. We've got a second. A second listener has written in. He is. He's been a fan of the show for a long time, and I'm excited for this one. We've been sitting on this for a little while, just to give it the right amount of thought and to have sort of the right amount of, I guess, thoughtfulness.
This was a fun one. No spoilers, but this was a dream one.
John writes in. Hey guys, my name is John.
Hi John.
Hey John. I would love your help in choosing my next timepiece.
Cool.
My Instagram is @PhillyWatchCollector, so we'll link that up because he's a good fan.
We know Philly Watch Collector.
We do. I think you guys do too. My current collection consists of mostly safe pieces. I have a number of steel Rolex, Daytonas, GMTs, etc. A Nautilus 5712 and a 5164, and the new Tudor Black Bay Blue, Navy Blue 58.
Yeah, sure.
So, as he says, very safe pieces. For my next piece, I want more of a passion piece. That's just plain fun with no consideration of popularity or value retention.
Love it.
Love
it.
Love that.
I'm happy to take a hiding on the secondary market.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. I love that. Yeah. My budget is up to $28,000, and I'm currently considering the Ulysse Nardin Freak X in titanium or carbonium, or a Rolex Yachtmaster in Evergold on Oysterflex. Would love your help.
What do you think of the Yachtmaster on Oysterflex, Andy? Are you a fan of it?
It's a bit of a smaller watch. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure about this for him. He's got the safe pieces, and
I'd say that's like a unsafe Rolex, which is still pretty safe.
To recap, $28,000. That's just about 40,000 Aussie, a little bit under. He has those safe pieces, the hot Nautiluses, the Tudor Black Bays, the robust daily, all of the steel Rolexes. I don't know about all, but he's got a lot of them. He wants a passion piece. It's got to be something fun that value isn't super duper important for. And those pieces he's looking at, Yachty on Oysterflex, or the UN Freak X, which is a wacky, wild choice.
Yeah, especially in that carbonium. That's like that forged carbon with like gold inclusions. That's a nutso watch.
Your nan's not going to be wearing one of those. Do you want to start?
Maybe your nan's customers are. You might as well start. I mean, I think you're onto a roll with. I've had a look at number one, so let's kick it off.
Yeah, I've gone to a few different corners of the world to help John out. So my first choice is a Sarpaneva Lunations, which is their new sort of moon watch. I think it's called the Harvest Moon, this particular piece. So independent Finnish brand. Yeah, it's independent Finnish brand. So Stefan Sarpaneva runs it, and he's sort of the watchmaker at the helm. What's really cool is that this watch is powered by their first in-house caliber. Ooh. It's also got the moon face, which is sort of, there's these two moon face discs that rotate, but it's like optical fiber that takes on whatever is sort of behind it. And it's just really trippy. Like you look at it and it's a trippy watch. It's got sort of an open work-ish dial, these sort of blued hands. If you've seen a Sarpaneva, you know what
classic look.
The case. Yeah, you know what the case looks like. It's actually DLC coated steel.
Yeah, cool.
Or the dial. Yep. Sorry. Yeah. It's 42 millimeters, which sort of, when you're in this sort of fun category, the size is less important. What else can I tell you about it? So it's got their first in-house caliber, which,
do you know who did it?
No. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he teamed up with someone.
Sure,
definitely. So it's got their Moon Mint caliber, which is 60-hour power reserve, what else can I tell you? The price it's up there. It's 33,000 to 35,000 euro. So this new model's sort of 35. It's limited to 10 pieces, so he might not be able to get one. I think they're still around. Sarpaneva are made to order anyway.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure if you say, I want this, you can
special.
get. He can, and I mean, that's part of what I was thinking. Like, if you're spending this much money and you want fun, get something you can have say, hey, I want this, but I want this in, green with, purple highlights and a dog painted on the back.
So he teamed up with Andreas Strehler for the movement.
Yep, he does
which is cool.
Astronomical stuff.
Yeah. So that's cool. And you're 100% right about that point. Like, get yourself in part of the process, work with one of these independent brands, and you kind of follow the journey in it. And it sort of any value sort of that you might lose or off the top is a bit less important. But that said, these watches, they're pretty rare and they hold their sort of price quite
There's certainly
well.
a market for them. Hey, Andy, before we get on to your next one, I need to come up with a name for this. What are we going to call this? The Scarce Scandi.
The Scarce Scandi.
You like that one?
The finisher.
Oh, the finishing piece.
Finisher. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I like it. The finishing piece. So I've met Stefan. He's a lovely guy. Really, really into it.
Yeah, he's great.
Somehow mates with Eric Singer from Kiss. So extra points for Sarpaneva. I'm not sure if we've done Sarpaneva on the show before. We've definitely done SUF.
We've chatted about Sarpaneva a bit.
They've come up. Yeah. So really, really cool piece. So that's my first choice.
Where have you gone next? Hang on. What do we call this one? This is the...
This one has a nickname.
Okay.
What's the model name? Okay, so I've gone over to Russia for this guy. Constantin Shaken?
Yep.
Dracula.
Oh.
So...
Whoa.
This came out last year. And it is a really, really crazy looking watch.
This is
Black PVD.
This is the scary option.
Most people would know this Constantine sort of for the Joker with the sort of eyes and the mouth with the sort of the tongue that goes around.
It's super clever. It's really clever watchmaking because it's like a base ETA caliber, I think. And he's just done some stuff on top to make it really, wacky.
Yeah, it's super cool. And these are as a brand, they're pretty hard to get because again, it's low volume.
It's
if you want something
hot, though, as well.
Yeah, that's fun. And this is the Dracula. So it's got it's basically blacked out, but it's got fangs on the mouth where sort of the Joker has something else.
Yep. The mouth is the fangs, yeah.
Yeah, and it's got sort of loom for lips, which is pretty cool.
Sure.
What won me over on this watch was there's a video clip for it, and I'll link up the video clip, but it's basically it's like lightning bolts and stuff, and it's just so basic in what you would expect, but also super charming.
Is it tacky but awesome? That kind of thing?
Yeah, it's tacky but awesome. So this is 42 millimeters, waterproof to 30 meters, 100 feet, 13.7 millimeters thick. So it's a bit of a thicker boy, crown on each side.
What's the damage?
3 at 9.
Have you done that yet?
Oh yeah, so the damage is 33.8 or 34,000 Aussie. Yeah. So it's under budget.
I think that's definitely a passion. That is definitely a just for fun piece.
This is like a conversation starter. It's an icebreaker. Yeah. It's a bit stealthy as well. So if you are more conscious of that stuff, it's you're not going to look at that and go, "That's a $34,000 watch off the street."
Yeah,
it's just a bad watch. And this episode's going to come out in October, so this can be like a Halloween special or something.
That's cool. What's your last one?
That's all right. My last one. I've given my last one up first. Okay, so it is a Patek Forba di Cracovie Panda Blue.
That is, again, apologies to all of Europe.
I think I said that right. I've researched before. I think I said that right.
Okay.
Patek? It's Patek?
Yeah, no, but the
Forba
de
Cracovie. Yeah,
okay.
Panda Bleu. That's right. It's 28,000 Swiss francs, so it's about the same in US dollars. Stainless steel case. It's got what they call their reimagined Guilloche Renaissance style with these silver subdials, rhodium plated steel hands that sort of have a nice contrast.
Resonance. Not to confuse with other popular resonances.
I did pronounce the name right though. It's limited again to 18 pieces, sold exclusively through Oster Jewelers wherever they are. But I'm sure you'll be able to pick one up. There's 5 pieces left according to
The internet.
Sapek's website.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, according to their website, integrated chrono. It's sort of an evolution of that dial that they're pretty famous for.
Yeah.
Something different.
Do they do their own movements?
Strap.
Are they that cool?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh no, they don't. They work with some pretty legit movement houses to do it. No,
Yeah,
I did.
cool.
I did.
That's sort of
look
like
into the movement.
For me, I will call this the conservative crazy.
Yeah,
because it's like you look at it and it's a blue dial Panda Chrono with guilloche and on a rubber sort of strap, but it's also, you look a bit closer, it's pretty nice.
the case back is also see through. It's really, really kind of an interesting movement to look at.
Interesting.
I think it's. I think the dial, when you look at it, you kind of get lost in it a little bit. It's a bit of a different. It's just an unusual sort of look to the
real texture.
That classic guilloche.
Okay.
So those are my 3.
Interesting.
Sapek are also, they're Swiss brands, so haven't gone too far for this. This stayed in sort of in Europe. But those are my picks. What did you come up with, Felix?
Well, the title for the first select is the under budget gold fashion watch that kicks ass.
Oh wow!
So fashion watch, you might think I've gone with something from Nixon maybe, or Hugo Boss.
I don't think anyone was thinking Nixon.
Ed Hardy. No, I've gone for someone a little bit classier. And so when you say, like, he's got some proper watches, like he's got a lot of sports.
He does.
So I've gone for something dressy, and it's still a little bit fun, but it's not out there like, bloody Constantin Jakin. And it's also super credible watchmaking.
Mm-hmm.
The Slim de Hermes GMT in rose gold.
Okay.
So the Slim de Hermes is an amazing watch. It's one of my favorite watches in the last little bit of time. They've done a few different versions. This is rose gold with a dark blue dial, sort of a bit graduated. The GMT is in a second 12-hour, subdial, and there's an AM/PM indicator above 12. If you've ever seen this watch, it's so nicely designed. The font has been custom done. It's just classy.
There's some interesting lugs as well.
Yeah, it's like, it's what you get if you get a company that doesn't normally do watches with an unlimited budget, and they want to make something that doesn't necessarily look like it's been put together using, conventional Swiss thinking. If you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean that GMT display it's a little bit crazy how vibes. The numbers are all over the place.
Yeah, so there's not like the numbers 1 to 12 are just all over the subdial. So it's a little bit fun, a little bit French, a little bit
scattered. That's a little bit wild for like a super, like if you've got conservative, and this, I could see this being like your crazy watch if you were. And
I think it's kind of nice. Like, you're not going to wear it every day, but you're going to feel nice when you wear it. It's also, so Hermes is a part owner of Vacheron, who do the movements, and they're like really good quality, horology. So I think Parmigiano Floria have also used them as well. I could be wrong there, but I think there's a connection there. So that's my first option. I mean, a bit of a like.
I love the 8 on these Hermes watches.
Yeah, so I think the guy who did it, he's apparently a renowned graphic designer named Philip Apoloig. It's I don't know why I went there, but that's where I went first.
Quite a bit of trivia to have up your sleeve as well.
I'm a big fan. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I've gone a little bit more conventionally wild. Like, if you've said, I want to have fun, it's a passion piece, I'm not overly concerned about, it holding value, I've gone with Pretty in Pink. Can you guess what this watch is?
I'm seeing a Velcro strap.
Mm-hmm. This is the Hublot Big Bang in Millennial Pink, done in collaboration with Garage Italia. So we've talked about this before, and they did a blue and a pink version. I've gone the pink because I think it's cool. It's sort of millennial pink's a thing, but weirdly, I don't actually think of this as millennial pink. It's sort of a more dusty, almost rose pink. The whole case is pink. It's a satin finished aluminium that's been anodized to a really, really beautiful color, and it comes with sort of a traditional Hublot strap, but also a woven pink Velcro. 29,200 Aussie dollars. And I just think it's cool. Like, it's a watch that you would put on and go, I'm having fun. I don't care about anything else. Oh, it's also 42 mil. Did I say that? So it's not super huge.
Wears okay on those straps.
Yeah. It's great. I just think, just have fun with it. This is it.
I love this watch. I think it's an interesting choice for John. I haven't met John, so I don't know if he's game for something like this, but I think
you
this
can go
is
the blue.
Really, really cool watch.
If he's not up for the pink,
I know I'll go with the blue, and it looks awesome in real life. Like, it is. If you got 30 grand for a daily, like, this is a very, very cool.
And Hublot, they sort of cop a bit of flack for like doing all these LEs and the same sort of thing. But this, I think, they have done some really, really cool stuff recently, and I think this is one of their coolest ones.
Props, and I love the whole like notion behind the millennial pink as well. We'll link up the episode where we talked about it in detail, but sure. I love the
so that's my second one. I just want him to pick this one a little bit. This is my personal one. The last one, I've gone totally out there.
You've lost the plot.
No, I haven't lost the plot, but like, he's going, I want something wild. I can't think of, in terms of, but also for the budget, we're talking serious money. You can get some really top-notch horology for $28,000 US, and I think found something that's top-notch horology, but also, super innovative, a real talking point, and like genuinely sort of like doing their own thing. Like, which, if you've got a lot of Rolex and Patek, this is the other side of the coin.
This is about as far as you can get from a steel Rolex. I love it.
So I have gone for a watch that gently used from a dealer in Florida at precisely $28,000 US. HYT H0 red khaki. Are you familiar with HYT, Andy Green?
Of course.
So for listeners that aren't, they use an unconventional time-telling method where they use liquid. They basically have like a little tube, a capillary tube that goes around the outside of the case usually, and there's different color fluid in there, and they have these cool little sort of, what do they call them, like valves, bellows, these metal bellows to push the different color liquid around and use it to indicate the hour. So in this one, that red line shows the hours, and there's a minute indicator that's on a more conventional dial. That's already wild enough. It's also a 48.8 millimeter by almost 20 millimeter high hockey puck of sapphire.
It's hockey puck vibes, isn't it?
In olive green. It
looks cool in the green though.
It does,
with the red contrasting. Yeah. Question on this one. When they service it, do they do like an oil change like you would do in your car where they like swap the fluid out?
I'm not sure.
Put new fluid in.
But you definitely want to be sending it back to Switzerland. You don't want to get your old mate to overlook at this wrong. Like, that's not going to be a cheap service.
That is that's a cool one to finish on.
So there we are. What do you think of mine, Andy Green? Which would you go?
Well, John and I are very different, but I like all your choices. You've gone.
Thanks, Andy.
I think this is a really good email to get because it lets us show off the diversity at sort of 50K Aussie.
There are 6 watches here, and they are all like totally different.
And what I love about this, it lets you. It's like, okay, guys, there's a million steel, Patek and Rolex and AP that you can buy for 50K.
Yeah.
But ignore those for 5 minutes and have a look at these and look how much fun there is to be had.
Yeah, 100%.
So the Hermes is cool. I think they did a steel one that I was pretty interested in.
They did titanium as well, with had cooler, like more modern colorway.
If if it was me, I'd be grabbing that the Hublot. I would wear that watch. I love that Hublot
Yeah.
in Millennium Pink.
Yeah.
The HYT is also super fun. Like that's a brand that doesn't get talked about very much, but that is a very, very fun.
Yeah, and if you can
statement piece.
get down with the look, that's cool.
Yeah, 100%.
And
What about mine? What do you think of mine?
Look, all good. I tossed up a bit between the Constantin and the Sarpaneva, but I think I would go the Sarpaneva. And again, I'd sort of, like we talked about, I'd twist it a bit and say maybe get a custom one-off done. I'm sure you could do it. You know, like
there's money left in the budget. There's a couple. I'm sure for another 3, 4, 5 grand, you'd be able to. And because they are made to order, like most of the watches are technically.
And he's
just about custom.
Yeah, it's not like he's got a giant bureaucracy. You're dealing with him pretty much.
Yeah,
and he'll be like, sure, I'll do that for you. Like, yep. I think that's the next level. If you're spending this money and you want to experience a different side of watchmaking, is like actually getting to be part of the process. I think that would be a really
pretty special.
A good experience that might, in another 10 years, we might be sort of getting into, custom Pateks, but this is a good way to start that journey. So that's the one I'm going for you. But also I love the Hublot for me.
Yeah, I think, Well, again, it's only one person can decide, and that's John and whoever controls his finances. But as always, Felix, we love getting these left of field emails. So how do the listeners send one in?
OTthepodcast@gmail.com. Duh.
And
you could also.
We apologise in advance if it takes us several months to get to them, but we.
They sort of they rack up a little bit, so we'll do our best to get back to you. If not, you can always hassle us on Instagram, ot.podcast.
Yeah, and thank you as always to the show sponsors. Thank you to Major Tom Media for putting the show together. Don't forget to check us out. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Of course, check out our shop that we've got. Get some stickers for yourself.
Get some stickers for your friends.
Yeah, just shower us with support. But we will see you guys next time.
Bye for now.
But not forever.